Hello, I wanted to talk today about the exhaustion I feel from being told that you're never going to have enough. You're never going to be enough. You're never going to produce enough. And we get this everywhere. It's like there's a concept of enough, of contentment. And it's a thing that exists, but I feel like it's just a platitude, something we pay lip service to as Christians. And we're not actually encouraged to live as if we were content. Jesus said, "Give us this day our daily bread," in the Lord's Prayer. We're supposed to ask just for our daily bread, not worry about tomorrow, what we'll eat, what we'll wear, because the Father knows we need these things. He knows what we need even before we ask Him. And we're not supposed to pray, "Give us this week our daily bread," or "Give us this month our daily bread," or "Give us this year our daily bread." We're only supposed to worry about today, for tomorrow has enough cares of its own. And how much of my life, I'm wondering, is really oriented towards the later years, saving for retirement, trying to save up to pay off a mortgage, kids' college, a rainy day fund, emergency fund for, some sort of medical crisis in the future. With my mind constantly on the future woes, I feel like it makes me not content. It makes me feel like I shouldn't, it's this weird sort of shame, this weird guilt I feel for daring to just be happy with what I have. This house, this little backyard, my little family, my little job, my little hobbies. What if I was just happy with that? If all of those things in existence, if I had just these as they are for the rest of my life, I never increased them, never added to them, and it was just this until I died, would it be enough? Would I be content? And when I think about that, I feel this guilt inside, like, no, I need to strive for more. I need to try to be more. I need to try to be better, produce more. And the sick thing is, the voice in my head that tells me that tells me I should do it not for my sake. Oh, no. Don't do it for yourself. Do it for your wife and kids. Do it for your employer. Do it for your town, your culture, your community, your country. The voice in my head tells me I'm obligated to strive for more, to spend my life, to spin my wheels and burn myself out in the pursuit of more for the benefit of others, the benefit of my wife, the benefit of my kids, the benefit of my country, the benefit of my church. I don't, sorry, it's a spider web on me. Anyway. And if I don't think that, if I say, no, I should be, Jesus said, "Give us this day our daily bread." Paul said, "Be content. Work with your own hands, mind your own business. Live lives of quiet simplicity and contentment." It's in the New Testament. And when I dare to accept God's word at face value, Jesus' words and Paul's words, I have this guilt, this shame, like I should be doing more and striving for more. These are two opposing voices in my head, and they can't really live side by side. They can't both be right. You know, ever since the American economic engine started really churning, you know, post-industrial revolution, so what, 1800s, 1900s? For the first time, a person had the opportunity for economic mobility in such a way that had never existed in our history. That was only a couple hundred years ago. 2,000 years ago, we were told to be content. But the American dream that now is a possibility that never was fills us with this frenzy, this hurried rush to accumulate all we can accumulate, that we could be the rags to riches story that incites, well, greed, among other things. It does inspire, the rags to riches idea does inspire. But we've taken it and turned it into like this hustle culture thing where it's never enough and you always want more. And you should die trying to achieve more. It's true in the church, it's true in the workplace, and it's true politically. The three main areas that make me feel most burnout in this midlife crisis that I'm going through. You know, at church, it's never enough to fill all your seats. You need a bigger building. Instead of planting another church and letting the kingdom grow, planting another church and letting it go off and be independent and letting it grow, we need a bigger building so we can get more people under our roof, more dollars, more tithers, more programs. Or we need to acquire more churches and put them in our network, under our influence. It's never enough. Every single member of a church could volunteer for something and give 30 to 40 hours a week in volunteering, and nobody does that, but 30 to 40 hours a week volunteering. If every single congregant and church member volunteered every scrap of free time outside their 9 to 5 to the church would still come up with a way to need more, because it's never enough. It's the same in the workplace. For shareholders, it'll never be enough. It doesn't matter how much you give, how many extra miles you go, your extra miles will become standard miles. Your extra effort will become the job description. Your going above expectations will become meets expectations, and you'll be required to do more, to give more. It's just never enough. In politics, I'm sick of politics. So yesterday, it's midterms, and my wife voted a couple days ago. And our polling place that we're assigned to is at the rec center down the street, where we also go and work out a couple times a week. So yesterday we went to work out a couple times a week, and it was kind of a last chance to vote thing for me. So I voted, and I voted for all of the people who I've been hearing negative campaign ads about. I voted for those people. I voted against everyone who was Trump endorsed, because that does not mean what they think it means anymore to me. And for the other names that I didn't recognize, I didn't vote at all. And it was kind of a protest vote, a throwaway vote. I didn't care. I went in, hit the buttons, didn't really care, and left. I was thinking about not voting at all. I was just doing it because I was there, and my wife was saying, you should do it. And I said, all right, you tell me who to vote for, that's who I'll vote for. So she told me, hey, vote for this guy for governor, and not Marsha Blackburn, because I'm in Tennessee. And Marsha Blackburn, our senator, is now running for governor. Nah, Nah, we've had enough. I've had enough of the, lifelong career boomer senators wrecking this country. And now they want to wreck my state and be the governor of the state? No, sorry. No, I want a good old boy. I want a good old boy who was born and raised here. And so that's the guy I voted for. His name is Monty something. I don't know. My wife told me who to. Oh, Monty Fritz? I don't even know his name, but I voted for him. Isn't that irresponsible? Shouldn't you research more and do more due diligence before you cast your vote? First of all, I don't think it really matters. I don't think voting matters at all. Not really. I think the die is cast before the polls are even open. That's just my opinion. I'm a little jaded, but I'm sick of politics. But we live, I feel like I'm permeated by a culture, online and offline, whether you're urban, suburban, rural, there is a permeation of the idea of more as an obligation. And the scriptures couldn't be more contradictory to that. And I'm on a mission to be content with what I have, and it's hard because, I'm pushing 50. I don't have enough saved for retirement. I feel like I should be doing more there. I want to do better for my wife and kids. But not at the expense of my daily experience with my wife and kids. You know what I mean? Like Jesus said, give us this day our daily bread, not to worry about tomorrow. At the same time, in Proverbs, it says, a righteous man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So I do want to think about the future, but I don't want to worry about it. I do want to have the future in mind without orienting my life's activity, my daily routine around buffering myself against the woes of the future. I don't even want to think about the future, to be honest with you. I find it really hard to be content, and I find it mission critical at the same time. I think it's the most difficult, the most necessary thing. When I push past that guilt and I allow myself the space and time to just be without obligations to do anything, go anywhere, produce anything, I have this sense of, when I push past the guilt and when I recognize that it's not biblical and it's not godly, I feel a sense of peace and happiness. And the real struggle now is just not comparing myself to others and just being happy with my little patch of dirt here and my sweet little family and our cozy little house, our home, and be grateful for my job. And I'm in sales too, by the way. You want to talk about something that doesn't lend itself to the idea of enough. But my job is enough. I don't care about promotions. I don't want promotions. I just want to make my sales. I enjoy my life, and I enjoy it more when I don't try to fill it with more, when I don't try to chase more. So anyway, those are my thoughts on contentment and trying to fight against the idea of more, and instead say, enough. I've had enough. I'm burnt out on more. I had in my 20s, in my mid to late 20s, I had a friend who lived down here, and we would go for coffee. We'd go to the Waffle House. And I remember one time, and we'd visit for hours. One time we were sitting at the table, and he was a very ambitious person, definitely entrepreneurial minded. And we were talking about the future, and he was talking about his house. It's a beautiful, beautiful home, way nicer than mine. And this is like 20 something years ago, right? So he's telling me about his home, and he's like, yeah, we like it, but we're going to sell it and, get another house in a slightly better neighborhood, live in that for 2 years, and then sell that and get in a slightly better neighborhood. And all the while, I'm going to go for a promotion, and then I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to grow my income. Very ambitious, very detailed plan laid out. And then he said something to me that still troubles me. He looked me in the eye and he said, in 5 years from now, in 5 years' time from now, if I'm in the same place making the same amount of money that I am right now, shame on me. Shame on me. He was actually disgusted with himself, his future self, if it had remained content with what he had, his wife and 3 or 4 kids, his beautiful home, his great job. And he was disgusted at the idea that he would have just that and nothing else in 5 years' time. And that really represents well, I think, the American spirit that is broken, that is corrupt. That's the problem. That's the disease of more. So that's all I got. I'm trying to be content. I would love to know what you struggle with. In what areas of your life do you struggle to be content? I'd love to have a dialogue about that. If you want to make a comment, that'd be great. I hope you liked the video. Sorry for the lawnmower that just started up, but my neighbor really does need to cut his grass because it's getting pretty long. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.